I am Lorentzen. I am a docent at the Porter House, and I've also done research on the Ellsworths and some other areas. I enjoy visiting with the people who come here, and I often end up learning something from them and their experience in relationship to the exhibits that we have here. I've always enjoyed the butterflies and the moths, like probably 100% of the people that visit. And I've used them both with elementary students when I taught elementary art. I've done it with the high school students that I've had. We've studied the architecture of the Porter House and various artifacts. But particularly, I've enjoyed doing things related to display of the butterflies and something that I do on the side, and that is to tag monarch butterflies. I enjoy being a citizen scientist. Along with Stephanie Voigt, I have done a video on how to tag monarchs and also how to spread and display butterflies, and have used some of Bert Porter's own butterflies that he collected. I believe one of the morphos here was collected October 5th, 1927 in French Guiana. So the last hands that touched the butterfly as I took it out of the butterfly envelope were Bert's. And that was pretty interesting to be part of the history of softening this up for display and then displaying it on the board here. So I've always thought it was interesting. Bert and Grace were both essentially trust fund babies. They could have done anything, or they could have done nothing. They could have just been people of leisure. But both of them were students their whole lives, and Grace kind of showed that by participating in the community, women's suffrage, and family issues. Bert was a citizen scientist. He was meticulous in how he learned about things, and for instance, the butterflies. When Bert would catch a butterfly, and that interest started when he was 8 years old, he would put it in an envelope like this. There are some here at the Porter House that are made out of glassine, which is kind of a thin, strong, transparent, translucent material. This happens to be made out of a newspaper, but what happens is when the butterfly is dispatched, you put them in the envelope, and then this flap goes here, this flap goes here. And when I did these butterflies, the morphos that are on display here, for instance, this one right here was caught in French Guiana, October 5th, 1927, and it is a morpho retinor. And he put the binomial nomenclature, the scientific name. Anyone, anywhere in the world would know what kind of butterfly that was. So he was very careful as he collected to identify and put all the information down there. Another thing that he did was on his travels to exotic locations, like places in South America, he would take along cigar boxes. And sometimes you use cigar boxes, you know, isn't there something more technical? But cigar boxes have the essence of nicotine inside, and nicotine discourages domestic beetles and book lice, different kinds of things that would eat the butterfly, and so they're the perfect container to put things in. What Bert did in his recording was important. He went to exotic locations, but he was also very familiar with Iowa's prairies and meadows, and in 1908 he made a list of 73 species that he found in and around the Decorah area. And Dr. Kirk Larsen, who is the head of the biology department at Luther College, used that list that Bert compiled in 1908 to work with a study of his own. In 1998, 90 years after Bert compiled his list, he published his findings, and he only found 55 of the species that Bert had found in 1908 here in the Decorah area. And then he did a follow-up study in 2015, and there were only 42 species at that point. So Dr. Larsen's interest is in the loss of insect diversity. So Bert's information provided a baseline for Dr. Larsen's further study.